We have to go back to the greatest failing that was exposed yesterday in civil court in New York. Donald Trump bemoaning that he doesn't get to have a jury trial. This was investigated. It turns out that Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, checked a box saying we don't want a jury trial. She made apparently a mistake. They could have had a jury trial. Trump saying, how can the judge just decide they're not giving us a jury? And it turns out that it was his own lawyer that checked the box saying we don't want a jury trial. Listen to Trump after the appearance saying they're not giving us a trial. And the person responsible for this, Alina Habba, is standing right over Trump's left shoulder.
Well, I think that was very good. That last 5 minutes was outstanding because the judge essentially conceded that the statute of limitations that we won at the Court of Appeals is in effect. Therefore, about 80% of the case is over. I was going to come out and say that, as you know, we're not entitled to a jury, which is pretty unusual in the United States of America. So we think it's very unfair that I don't have a jury. But the judge's last statement was very fair. And if I read it right, I'll let perhaps one of the lawyers speak to it. But Cliff, maybe you'll speak to it if you would. But the way I interpret that, and the way everyone else in the room seems to interpret that, is that the statute of limitations is a very real thing.
So this is not exactly the best legal team that Donald Trump has working for him. Many lawyers no longer are interested in representing Trump because he often doesn't pay. Some lawyers now say money up front, please, because they know Trump stiffs lawyers regularly. And so now we have a situation where Trump's legal team is not what we might call world class or A+. And so it's not about the judge denying Trump anything. It's not about everybody else gets a jury and Trump doesn't get a jury. Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, declined a jury in the paperwork that was filed with the court. That's what's going on here. That's the bottom line. There really is nothing else to it. And this is the sort of thing that I anticipate happening a lot. This is a civil trial, but even in Trump's criminal trials, where his representation, his legal representation, may be marginally, but not that much better. And I'm hoping, just because it would be extraordinarily entertaining, I'm hoping that Trump is able to convince his lawyers in his criminal cases to make some of the legal arguments that they and Trump have made publicly, which are not valid legal arguments. Such examples include, of course, that the entire documents case against Trump is invalid because it's all subject to the jurisdiction of the National Archives rather than criminal law. That's a lie. It's not true. Legal experts have explained that is absolutely not the case. When it comes to Trump's trials over his attempts to steal the state of Georgia, Trump has argued that they're prosecuting him for free speech and that they're taking away his First Amendment right. I would love for Trump's lawyers to make that argument in court. Of course, it's in the indictments that Trump is not being prosecuted for his opinion about the election. Trump has every right to give his opinion about the election. He even has a right to lie and say, I won, even knowing he didn't win, if that's the case. None of that is criminal. The reason he's being prosecuted criminally is because he actually engaged in a conspiracy to disenfranchise voters. Even though there was no actual proof that Joe Biden did not really win Georgia, Trump attempted to strong-arm elected officials in Georgia into finding votes such that he would defeat Joe Biden. He attempted to send a slate of fake electors to say, hey, in Georgia, we cast our electoral votes for Donald Trump rather than Joe Biden. That's the criminal conspiracy. It's not because Trump said, I believe I won. He's not being prosecuted because he said, I believe I won. So my hope, for entertainment's sake, and I think it would just be really great, is that Trump's lawyers try to make those arguments in court. From everything I've read from legal experts, they will be laughed out of court. We will know within a few months whether they're going to go for it. Staying healthy and feeling generally good is all about habits that are sustainable, finding what works for you, something you'll stick to, and it might be different for everybody. That's why I keep my routines really simple. Before I have my morning coffee, I'll have a scoop of AG1. AG1 is just this tasty green nutritional supplement. You can mix it into water or other drinks or smoothies. You get 75 high quality vitamins and probiotics from whole food sources. It's just a scoop of AG1. You're covering everything you would need for the day. I just don't have time to be dealing with 10 different vitamin supplement bottles or combining all these things. It's also really expensive to do that. It's just a single scoop of AG1 in the morning, gives me all the vitamins that I'm looking for, saves time, more cost effective. You can go to drinkag1.com/Pacman to get 5 free travel packs of AG1, plus a free 1-year supply of vitamin D. I've talked about vitamin D many times. The link is down below.